That's the only tournament I looked into. That was the only A tier we had going on. So I figured I didn't even really dig in to see if any of the other guys were playing anywhere, but there we go.
All right. Well, congratulations, Chandler.
You freak. Nobody likes you. I still don't know why that poor dude made the bottom of the list.
Yo, hello everyone. Welcome in to the Players Meeting, a Win Dummies production. I'm your host, Lucas Deal, and thank you so much for being here. We're rolling right into episode number 39. In this episode, we're going to talk about some pretty big topics. The potential changes to the step/jump putt, Prodigy's new CEO, and a new disc golf tour on the horizon. We'll sprinkle in some off-season tournaments and some touring departures. Stay locked in. You don't want to miss any of this. And as a reminder, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. All you got to do is search for the words Win Dummies. And please, if you have not, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Disc and Deals Coverage. That's where you can ring that bell for notifications so you never miss a single episode. We also have a skins match coming out very soon that you don't want to miss. But without further ado, let's bring in the real star of the show, the one-time world champ, Chris Smith, a.k.a. Smitty. Yo, what up, Smitty?
What's happening, player?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is a new week, a new podcast. Did you get into any action this weekend? What'd you do?
I played a little disc golf on Saturday, and once again, didn't play very well. And then went out Sunday and shredded, and went out yesterday and shredded. Well, yesterday was Sunday. Went out today and shot pretty good. But I did lose my pink Justice again.
Oh, no. On that same hole?
Well, remember last year I lost it, and I did all the wanted posters.
Oh. Yes, okay. I'm thinking of a different disc. Okay, oh my God. Is it going to happen again?
Nah, because I know where this one's at. I'm going to try to go in and get it tomorrow.
Okay. I do remember that. I'm going to put one of those up. These wanted posters were amazing, so I'm going to look for one, and we'll put that up so everyone can see it.
Well, I think what was more fun than the wanted poster was the number of discs I found and tried to return since losing my disc.
Yeah, disc number 12 since I've lost my pink Justice.
I think it got into the upper 20s, maybe 30, because I found a lot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it looked like you played pretty well at PDGA League. That's your highest rated round ever, probably, isn't it?
It was, yeah. 10. I think it ended up, after all was said and done, it ended up being 1032. So pretty dang good. I think it was my highest was 1011 before that. So yeah, it was it's one of those things where I missed 3 putts that I should have had, and that could have been even better. But I mean, I think that's every round you ever have. But I strung enough together that the biggest thing for me is I just wanted to make sure I beat Alexis, and I definitely did.
You stomped a mud hole in that jump.
But he beat me at flights right after. So.
Looks like you had a good turnout out there, too. I thought it might be down a little bit with the $10 parking and out of town a little bit. But
yeah.
Good.
We still had 39 that showed up. And, yeah, I was kind of the same as you, as I was a little surprised. But I did encourage carpooling, and there were some clown cars that came out. Some people packed in and made sure they didn't have to pay. And I think some people split that cost. So I think that was a fun way to do it. And It was a good time. Good time.
Yes, sir. Well, enough small talk. Should we get partying?
Yeah, dude. It's, we got some topics this week that I really want to jump into, and we're going to go down some rabbit holes. So I can't wait to get into this stuff, but let's start where we always start. What's popping? What's been happening around the world of disc golf? And this week, let's start just with the normal, some off-season tournaments. What did we have going on this week, Smitty?
Well, let's call up our little slide, shall we? Ooh, yeah. We had the South Florida Open, and looky there, look who won. One of the most hated disc golfers on the planet.
Is he the most hated?
He was in the top 5.
Oh,
remember?
yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the hair, right?
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
wow, 1044 rated?
Well, yeah, for the event. So
that's the event rating.
Looks like he ended up tying with Gavin and must have beat him in a playoff of some sort. But
you don't know how that played out?
No, I just pulled this off of PDGA Live, and I looked at his Instagram, and I didn't see anything on there. It doesn't look like he's too active on Instagram. But anyhow, he took down the A tier, which is great for him. He beat some good players.
Yeah.
Rathbun's not bad. Calvin Lundquist was in the field. That's the Calvin that shot better than the normal Calvin or a few of the tournaments last year. So he beat some dudes. And then I didn't put anything up, but Sarah Hokum outlasted Rebecca Cox on the ladies' side.
Yeah, and I do know that Rebecca's, I think, final round, or I don't know if it's final, but she shot a 1029 rated, the highest of her career. And what's crazy to me is how the ratings have just gone up for the women. That's a fantastic round, 1029. And that didn't even get into the top 20 for best rounds this year for FPO, which is pretty impressive for the FPO field.
You know what? I think that the spread between the top and the bottom rated woman is much different than what it is in the men's, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know who the top women are going to be, and they just kick the living crap out of the bottom. Like Sarah beat the last place finisher by 49 strokes.
Yeah.
Right. And Rebecca was 48. But on the dude side, let's look at that real quick. These guys were 16. Well, they really kicked the crap out of this guy too. They beat him by 55 strokes.
All right. Poor guy.
I mean, on the pro tour though.
Yeah, it's different on the pro tour. You're talking, you're getting some people that shouldn't be playing pro in those local tournaments.
Yeah, this guy was 919 rated.
Yeah.
He got last place.
Yeah.
And on the pro tour, any of those guys that are 10-15 and above, the right weekend, the right course, a couple breaks here and there, they could be in the running for the win. And I think that's kind of lowering the rating ceiling on the men's side. Whereas the women's side, there's still a few women that dominate over them and just kick the living stuffing out of the other ladies.
Yeah,
I think that helps to boost the ratings. It used to be you'd go to a big event and you would shoot a normal round and it would come in rated way higher than what you thought it was. So
yeah,
yep. But ratings. That's the only tournament I looked into. That was the only A tier we had going on. So I figured I didn't even really dig in to see if any of the other guys were playing anywhere, but there we go.
All right. Well, congratulations, Chandler.
You freak. Nobody likes you. I still don't know why that poor dude made the bottom of the list.
He's just unorthodox.
I think that's it. I think it's his game more than his hair.
Yeah, just a strange character.
Yep. Here we go. Here's some tour news. Yeah. 3-time USDGC champ Will Schustrick taking over as CEO of Prodigy. What do you think of that?
At this stage, I think for Prodigy, it's kind of a lost cause, and I feel bad in my mind for Will because it's like, Will was handed the captain's hat for the maiden voyage of the Titanic, and here he goes. We know how this is all going to end. There's no way to miss that iceberg. I don't think there's anything he can do to turn things around. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of people that are on that same way that you're thinking. I think the first thing he does is fire his graphics guy. I mean, look at this thing, dude. This is like a picture. We can see the transparent background shining through on the top and the bottom of it. from a major disc golf company, you or I could do better than that for free.
Yeah.
So, but I think one of two things is going to happen. It's going to go like you said, plummet. The other thing that happens is maybe Prodigy finds a way to right the ship. They have some good molds, but the problem is the same disc from run to run to run, or even within a mold, varied so great. Differences between what would come out and the plastic. I have some in my bins that are like just sitting there and they're getting like chalky, and
yeah.
So that's something to consider. The flashings on those things will cut your dang hands off. So, but if they can get that under control and figure out how to have a little quality control within the factory, I think they could be all right. I don't think they'll ever take over Innover Discraft's spot in the game, but I think they can survive, can't they?
I don't know. They're going to lose all of their main stars. I mean, well, who are they going to have? They're going to have Kale. They're going to have Luke Humphreys. There's really not another big Prodigy name that I can think of. I don't know if that's necessarily important either to them, because do they have enough to pay someone, at the end of the day? I just don't think there's any possible way that they get out of this. They just have bad publicity. And then with all of their guys leaving, it just doesn't look good for anyone that's been watching the game.
2 points. Number one, we just see Prodigy in our neck of the woods. We don't know what it's like down in the Georgia area where Prodigy's from. It could be, every course could be filled with the stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it is. And the other thing, you talk about bad publicity. I remember it was not too long ago, we shared a slide of Will going back and forth with some guy on Reddit about payout at an AM tournament, and
that's the CEO, baby.
I can't believe that hasn't popped up, because he came off kind of as a jerk in that Reddit transaction, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so who knows, man? I mean, I hope for their sake that they can swerve and miss the iceberg, but you're probably right. They're probably on a head-on collision with it and going down.
I do wonder, who do we see leaving first, Lone Star or Prodigy?
Oh, yeah, Lone Star's way out before them. I think Prodigy probably has a pretty good following in Europe.
Yeah, I was going to say, they may have some touring professionals there that I'm not as good with the Euro scene.
Yeah, so I think there's hope for them. And if there's one person that you think of when you think of Prodigy and good disc golf, it's Will Schustrick multiple years ago. Problem is, the people who remember Will Schustrick as a 3-time world champion are me. And at this point in my career, I'm not going to go probably grab Prodigy discs and start throwing them.
Well, Ken Climo to Discraft.
Maybe we still haven't not heard.
Oh, okay, I guess that's fair. That's fair.
I did see a YouTube short of him throwing a green and an orange disc. Both were blank, but that's a bad dude, man.
He still looked good, didn't
he? Still a bad dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw that same clip and I'm like, damn, he's still slinging that disc.
Did you ever know that I knocked him out of the World Championships?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
Well, he was playing chase card and was done, and he and Patrick Brown were watching my card finish, and I was sitting in 4th place, and we were playing Peter Pan Park in the semifinals, and we were coming down hole 4. Got to throw around the big crap pile in the middle. And I just threw it over to the left and hyzered into the stuff, and then threw just a nasty little Seafoam Felon Anheuser flick and just pinned it. So I got to play in the final 9 and he didn't.
Dang. That's something you will always have with you.
Yeah, he probably maybe even cost me that world title. Yeah, he called me on once again, he was on the card in front of me. We were kicking his butt, and we were coming into Old 18 at Jones East, which isn't even a hole now. You played, hole 1 is the one that played to the red barn around the corner, and 18 played from the other way out to this little skinny peninsula. And I just flicked one out, fell out to the left, and tried to throw backhand putter onto the peninsula. My group was sure that I was up there by the pin, hit a flag. Ken Climo ran across the parking lot and told him that he did not hit a flag. We were way up here. We didn't see it. So my group instantly all changed their stories.
Oh, my God. He can't do that.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, but it was 1 against 3.
And it was the champ as well.
And the shittiest part is Jeremy Rusko was walking with us.
Oh, yeah.
So I just took my spot and threw the next one out of bounds too.
Did you run up to Ken Climo at that point and said, that one hit a flag, right?
No, it was a drama-filled round. Johnny McRae got in a dang near fight with Doss Loomis up at the top of the hill, and yeah.
Wow.
It was a fun event, though.
Yeah. Come on, Ken. You're better than that.
Well,
yeah.
he and Patrick Brown. Oh, hello. He and Patrick Brown are notorious for stuff like that. Watch the Scott Stokely foot fault video.
All right.
Here we go. Interesting stuff here, Mr. Gibson.
Yep, Drew has decided after playing not that long on tour, he's taken a step back and is going to limit his touring in 2025. And he's doing this mostly because he really wants to be there for his kid. He's about to become a dad, or he's already a dad. Regardless, he doesn't want to go from city to city and have his daughter say, "Where's dad?" And he grew up in a single parent home, and that's, something that's very, very important to him. So I can absolutely respect this 100%. I just wonder if that's truly the whole story. But regardless, it's a fantastic sentiment. Smitty, what are your thoughts?
Well, you said Drew hadn't been on tour very long. I can remember a super young Drew Gibson throwing Casey rocks all over the Memorial and getting a top 4 finish when he was just a kid. So he's been really good for a long time. And what did he do this year? He kind of had an off year at several events.
And I'm sure that played into it.
Well, and I think he was injured a lot too. I know he's having some sort of a hand grip issue. When you throw as hard as that dude, grip is at utmost importance. But he did get 10th at USDGC.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and he won a Casey Wide Open, which is a qualifier series. But he's still really good. I respect him for making the decision to not tour and, like you said, stay home with his girlfriend and future daughter, I think is what he said. When it gets down to it, though, and there's a tournament that he really wants to go to, I think he said 6 to 10 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be probably hard to not go to some of those tournaments.
Yeah. But it's a grind as well. And he did have a kind of a down year. I mean, in my mind, truly, I'm facing something similar just with my channel alone. I mean, it's on a much smaller scale, but I want to be around my kids. I don't want to be always going out and even just recording, it's just such a balancing act. And I guess my question is, when I think about this, is Drew's contract with Infinite, like he's getting $1 million a year, I think is what he signed like a long time ago, but he doesn't have to play more than 10 tournaments. I wonder what the fine print is on that contract.
Well, like you said 1 or 2 shows ago, Drew's always trying to sell you something.
It's true.
And his YouTube channel is doing great.
Okay.
And I think that he'll be maybe we'll see Drew more not on tour than we did on tour. We didn't see him much this year, but if he's at home making videos, and his videos they probably piss a lot of people off, but I think, and I said this before too, I think he really truly is trying to make change for the better when he makes his hot takes or whatever you want to call them. Now, I don't know if they're going to be as relevant when he's not on tour, but he's still going to be connected with all the people, and he's going to know more than you and I are going to know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He knows all those dudes. He's hella close with all of them. And honestly, I'm with you. I do think about Infinite and the way that they advertise in general. They do take a different approach. I mean, they signed Bedanza, who isn't even a touring pro and is trying to get a tour card, and they signed him just because of his YouTube. So that social media to them, I think, is a big thing. So I could definitely see that as he may have to fulfill some type of obligation there with Infinite. That would make sense. But I do like what Drew has to say. I like his opinion on things. And I am with you. I truly think he wants the tour to succeed, but from a player's perspective. I really think he's always in it for the player. And you can't fault him for that.
Yep, it'll be like I said, we'll see what happens once we get deep into the tour and things are really cracking. Okay. I know this is probably an irritant to you.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So the PDGA has started a discussion about no more jump or step putts inside of 20 meters. So I'm going to read this all, and then there's a few highlights that I also want to go over. But this is directly from Doug Bierkes. As we know, he is director of the PDGA, and his proposal is simple: no jump or step putt inside 20 meters. So he's wanting to move that 10-meter circle to 20 in order to allow a step putt, which would be 66 feet. So he says many solutions to this problem have been proposed, but I believe it's paramount that we keep the rules as simple and easily enforceable as possible. I don't think it's necessary or feasible to ban the jump or step putts. They are athletic and appealing. To preserve the technique and greatly reduce the chance of a player gaining a significant advantage, I'm in favor of simply redefining a putt to be 20 meters, meaning simply this: no jump or step putts permitted within that distance. Outside that distance, our concern is much less critical. Of course, however, we must continue reminding everyone that players must always keep a supporting point on the lie. That is perhaps the most basic tenet of our rules of play. So,
you want those?
Yeah. So basically, this is happening for 4 big reasons. Number one, the current rule versus modern technology. The 10-meter putting rule has been unchanged for nearly 50 years, and advancements in the disc and the basket technology have extended the effective putting range, making step and jump putts more common in Circle 2, 10 to 20 meters. The legality issues. Step and jump putts require precise adherence to rules, contact with the lie at the release, and no ground contact beyond it, but enforcing these in real time is challenging. Also, difficulty for officials. Accurately judging the legality of these putts requires near instantaneous timing, which is an unreasonable expectation for most players and officials. And finally, the rule violation in general. Video evidence frequently shows players unintentionally violating putting rules, which could impact the integrity of championships. All right, we already know my thoughts. I am a step putter. You are not, Smitty. Well, you do. Sorry, you do, depending on the situation. But I will, if I'm outside of the circle currently, 10 meters, I'm step putting regardless. You don't always. You have specific times that you do it. So what are your thoughts around this?
Well, I think that players will adapt. I think the best players in the world, very few of them are step putting from 33 feet, right? They're just banging them in. I guess I don't really care about how far back you have to do. What I care about most is Doug. What a bad dude, man. This is the first time I can ever think of that the PDGA has come out and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this, and this is why. First is just saying, hey, you got to be there 2 minutes before. So he's probably being fed tons of feedback via social media posts. I saw one from Ezra saying it's a horrible rule, horrible idea. Well, that's because he likes to step putt from 33 feet.
Mm-hmm. AB does, I think.
Yeah, but not every single.
He changed because he saw other people doing it. So he would adapt, of course.
Yeah, well, they're all going to adapt. I think Doug's reasons for wanting to change are spot on. It wasn't even 10 or 15 years ago that from 35 to 40 feet, you were kind of trying to make it. You were really trying to not go way past. Not today, man. You're trying to cram that sucker in from everywhere. Why? Mm-hmm. Because the baskets catch better. That's why these guys that are throwing them in 95 miles an hour and it's spitting out are so mad because they never put it on a Mach 1. Mm-hmm. You had to lay it in with some touch. So I think he's right. I think that the technology in the baskets has outgrown 30 feet. What about the legality of it all? I mean, what was the biggest shot of the entire year last year?
The
one that's going to be number one on year in review, James Proctor putting from the drop zone at MVP.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
After that happened, he took a lot of heat, people calling it a illegal putt. I don't know how far that drop zone is, but I think that thing's pushing 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Sure looks it. But I don't know, man.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I was actually going to go the shot of the year, which the other James Proctor shot was that spit out that rolled down the hill and all the way up. Oh, dude, that's what first came to my mind.
That wasn't James. That was little Nick.
No, it happened to James first. James was closer.
Oh yeah, James was way close. Yeah, you're right. He was 10 feet.
Yeah.
He rolled down and went out of bounds.
Yes, exactly.
I think he bounced back.
He did. Yeah, he was fine.
Yeah. So the one thing I think will be weird if this thing happens, if it, the proposed rule changes and we get this 20 feet thing, is how many times do you walk up and somebody says, am I in or am I out? Right? Yeah. They're going to be way out there now. Hey, am I in? No, go ahead, step it.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to 60 feet is a long
66,
way.
yeah, 66 is, I mean, adding an extra 6 feet on that is even more. So I have
the distance clear across the circle is now going to be the distance from the basket to the edge of the circle.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That is far.
Yeah, it is, dude. It's so far. Well, let's I have thoughts, all right? And number one, obviously, I want this to not happen. I need to step putt, and I will, of course, adapt as well. But I just learned the step putt about 2 years ago, and it has saved me so many strokes because I'm actually getting the disc there. Earlier in my career, I just don't have the right pop, and it just helps me use my legs, right? But I do agree that it is a bang bang call, and it is tough to call someone on it. I have practiced so many times to make sure it is legal as possible. But even when I record myself, I have noticed, I'll even put it on my videos, but I have foot faulted before. And I didn't think I had at the time, but I have. So my question is so many sports have adopted video evidence being admissible. Do we have but I know not everyone's going to be recorded, but is that something that we allow, having that video evidence?
I don't think we're there yet because, like you said, not everybody's being recorded, and not everybody's being recorded by the best cameras that we have available either. Mm-hmm. You know, dude who goes out at 7:30 in the morning with two other guys who don't give two craps, they'd rather be sleeping in, but they signed up for this tournament and have to play, aren't going to have the same people watching as Gannon Burr is when he goes out lead card.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do think it's tough too, because I think the angle of the video could potentially make a difference too. And because I know sometimes if you're right over my shoulder, you can't really see when the disc is released versus when where my foot is when it is released. So I think that would be tough, but it's just a thought. But I'm thinking about this from a couple other perspectives, and I'm trying to take myself out of this a little bit. But what about if you're in a tough pickle and you want to fall forward from 45 because you got a low ceiling? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's the stuff that I don't know if we're thinking about. Kind of some short-sightedness to, hey, we want to stop it because more people are making it. But think about not the men here. Think about the women. The women already struggle from that range. They're only banging those when they're step putting. Tell me you want the girls' game to be more boring without telling me you want the girls' game to be more boring. I think that's something you also have to think about when you're talking about eliminating this. In my mind, I don't think you take it all the way back to 60 or 20 meters. I think you take it to 45. Start there. To me, that makes more sense. If you're going to make this change, I would say try from there before you move it all the way back to 20 meters. That's pretty far. Hey, for those of you watching, I would love to hear your thoughts. I think this is going to be an ongoing debate, and we know we have some of the older generation, and not always the older generation, but some of the players that came into the sport, they hate the step putt. I know people that absolutely despise it. They don't want anything to do with it. They think it's unfair already, so they're already on board. But take a step back and just look at this and give me your thoughts on how you feel. Somebody, any more thoughts on this?
My last thing is, you said it would make the women's game more boring. I disagree with that 100%. I think the only woman I can think of that benefits from a step putt was Kristen Lott.
Oh.
And she quit because people were posting her pictures and calling her a cheater and whatever else. Paige Pierce is bad mamba jamba at step putting when she's on. She's the only other one I can think of. I don't think it's going to change their outcome much at all, if any. The best putter in the women's game is Owen, and that chick just throws them in there.
She does. She's on another level.
Yeah, I don't think it'll affect their game at all. Maybe it'll keep them from. Maybe they'll just lay up now and we'll move on.
Yeah, I think one more point that I have is I love the idea of the step putt because I think it's a truly athletic move. You have to practice. You can't just do that. Like it's making the game more fun. I like seeing more putts go in.
It's definitely a skill.
I will definitely say, in my mind, there's two types, right? I think a straddle jump putt typically is more often illegal than a step through. Because a lot of times those straddle jump putts, they're in the air when they let go of the disc. It's just going to be a hot topic for a while. And if they make that change, I'm going to have to learn how to putt without falling through from within 66. And oh, what's this?
This is a man that doesn't need to step putt. Ezra Robinson. Bad dude. Remember at the Jacksonville Open a few weeks ago, he shot 1,100 rated round?
Mm-hmm.
Look down there at the bottom. Round 2.
1099?
Yep. When it went official, it went below 1,100.
Oh, poor guy.
I know. What a bummer, right? I mean, does he care? I think maybe.
How would you not? That is a feat. Getting 1,100. I'm stoked at 1032. If I ever hit 1,100, oh my god, that's like a bucket list item, right? For a disc golf career is hitting 1,100.
You're never hitting that at Millbrook Park.
Well, I'm never going to hit it at any park, me personally, but
impossible at Millbrook Park. I don't even think an 18 under would rate 1,100. But yeah, I mean, 1099 is really good, but 1,100 is way better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll bet when he got the ratings update last week and he looked at it, he's like, "Are you kidding me, man?" So,
I wonder who noticed it first. I wonder if his brother said something first to him or one of his friends, which would make it even better.
Yeah, that's I just thought that was kind of interesting and too bad for him for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Smitty, another hot topic here, and I'm really liking the show today because there are some things that are truly debatable topics, right? And so we definitely want to hear from you all on these topics, but let's talk about this. GK Pro, no more. I will say a little bit dramatic with the title, the post, but that's fine. So GK Pro is no more. They are now called Go Throw. And so it's just a simple rebranding is all that was. But is it that simple? Because they are now starting their own tour. It's the Go Throw Tour. And it will have a points race, just like the DGPT. And there's going to be a year-end event. And they're going to play some pretty awesome courses like Eagles Crossing, some pretty awesome parks. So I have, again, quite a few thoughts on this, but I want to hear your thoughts first, Smitty.
I love it. I absolutely love it. If this is somebody saying, "Hey, man, we can do what you're doing and maybe do it better," and there's probably nothing going to get the Disc Golf Pro Tour to do a better job than having somebody showing them up a little bit. So I'm for it. I'll be interested to see if people follow it which players forego the Disc Golf Pro Tour to be on the Go Throw Tour. I'll be interested to see if the top dudes bounce back and forth between the two. It'll all be interesting. Let's skip forward for just a second and then come back and talk
Okay,
a
that's
little
fair.
bit more about it.
So I had messaged Smitty this, and I had saw some posts online that there had been talk of the DGPT telling players that had tour cards that they couldn't play an event the same weekend as a DGPT event. Kind of the DGPT really putting their foot down and saying, hey, you're with us and you can't do anything else if you have one of our tour cards. And Drew Gibson went on record in the DGPT tour card being exposed video there. He went on record and debunked this, saying that they had tried that actually last year, but had taken out that clause because they realized they were probably stepping a little bit too far over the line. So that is not real. So if you have heard that the DGPT has said that, that's not the case. Now, I don't know if they are going to do something down the road, but currently at this state, that's not real.
I think they did say that originally, though, and that's the way I feel. Is that was out there? They probably had heard whispers of this Go Throw Tour, and that was their shoot before you think reaction. Yeah. And I would guess that didn't go over so well with these guys. You know, they have to pay $1,000 for a tour card.
From what I've heard, because Drew actually mentioned this too, it's like a scaffolding. So the earlier you get it, the less it is. And then it becomes this price, and then it becomes this price. So I think it goes up to like $1,100 or something at the top end. And then Drew went off. I honestly recommend everyone watch that video to kind of get a behind the scenes look. Apparently, a few times the DGPT paid their players like a month late on some of these purses, and then Drew is going back and forth with, oh, but you want us to get our tour card right here, but you can't pay us on time, and there's some good stuff, some good juicy stuff in that video.
It sounds a little J-Ray-ish to me. We can't pay our bill until we get our entry fees for this, and then we can pay that bill, and now we're behind the 8 ball, but we can't. That's kind of how it feels to me, that maybe the Disc Golf Pro Tour isn't doing as well as what we would like to think they're doing.
That's what I think. And I think you've mentioned this several times, Smitty, that we see the purses going down. And obviously now, this is my question with the Go Throw Tour is, what are those purses going to be like? Is it going to entice some of these top players to go over there? I mean, I don't know what kind of money they're bringing in, but if they're playing some of these like courses that never get love, right? Are those sponsors and those courses paying more money in that's going to be able to add money into the cash value for the players?
Well, however GK does it, man, they give out a lot of money in their skins matches, which are just on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think all that comes from OTB. Well, I think the majority of that comes from OTB.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the courses you mentioned was Eagles Crossing, and from what I hear, money doesn't really truly matter there. So that is probably going to be a big payday. That'll probably pull people in for sure. Yeah. The other tournaments, I don't know where the funding comes from. I don't know what the payouts will be. I would assume maybe the entry fees won't be as steep, and then if the payout's a little bit lower, you can justify that by saying we didn't pay so much in. I don't know how it's going to work out. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for these guys to have two options. And you know what? Maybe if you live in California and the events at De La Viega, I don't know if that's on there. I hope it is. and the Pro Tour's playing at, I don't know, Music City Open, and you don't want to drive all the way there and spend all the money to stay there, maybe you go to California.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is you mentioned this right when you first started talking about it, is I think it's good for the sport to have battling tours, right? Because it's going to make them compete with each other and step up their game. One's going to do this, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do that," and they're going to keep raising the bar for each other. And I think it's going to truly, truly help. Think about this: it's like when the PDGA had the national tour, and then the DGPT came in with their elite series, and they had all of these different events, and that was good for the sport, right? That's how we started growing, and I think this is going to be good. But my concern is with the Go Throw Tour, I don't think any of that's going to be live.
Right.
I think it's all going to be post-produced. So they are selling tickets and things. So I'm just wondering what that looks like too. Because, in the world that we live in, you're going to definitely get it spoiled because you can just go look at the results. So is that going to take away some of the things? I don't know.
I love live disc golf. I love watching it on Saturday afternoon. I hate that it's always so dang nice out, and I would rather be out playing, but I like watching it. But at the same time, I wonder how much cost goes into that live production, paying the camera guys, buying that equipment, hosting it somewhere, versus just these guys filming and turning out a good product. Maybe they'll steal some of Joe Mez's ideas from last year, where they'll have to cover from other cards and check in and whatever. So I've never thought GK's production quality was nearly as good as Joe Mez's, but I've watched a ton of their videos.
Yeah, I think they're great. And again, I'm all for this. I'm excited to see how it all plays out, because I mean, there's still a lot of questions and still a lot of tour stops for them to announce. So I'm excited to see what their particular schedule looks like. And I think that will be a great topic for next week. Hopefully we get some more information on that, because we also want to talk about the DGPT schedule for next year. And if we can get their information, I think it'd be a good conversation to have. I'm assuming that the Go Throw Tour is going to try to do like the off weekends for the DGPT. That would be my thought.
That'd be smart for them, I would think. But, at the same time, they just might not really care.
That's true. It might be like a sticking it to the DGPT as well.
I got one more thing that we didn't put on our slides that I think is worthy of sharing. There's a lot of people excited about this Disc Golf Masters Tour and some of the stops on it, right? It's coming. I mean, they've stopped in Oklahoma previously. I think they're stopping there again. I don't know if it's the same event, but they're coming to Wichita.
They are.
This year. And there's a lot of people really excited about it. Super gung-ho, or super thinking that it's fantastic. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm excited about it because Disc and Deals coverage is going to be there to cover the event. So that's cool.
Paid by the Disc Golf Masters?
Paid by Innova. So Duck's doing it. So I don't know. It could funnel from there. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. But so I don't know if I'm covering the Masters portion of that or just the MPO. But, I'll do what I'm told. And I think it could be cool to have some of the Masters coverage on there, because that's not something we have a lot of on the channel.
The thing I've noticed about these is when the idea first came out, I was excited about it. I thought, oh, man, this is cool. This is going to be really cool. But they have a hard time filling these events up, and I've seen these events fall off of the tour mid-season.
Okay. This is where I don't know the history behind this. How long have they had this Masters Tour?
I think this is the third year, maybe.
Okay. So, yeah, because I know they were at Black Hawk last year at least. And so you're saying that these don't usually do well?
I don't know what it truly adds to the tournament. I don't know what the tournament has to pay to be on the Disc Golf Masters Tour. I reached out to Callie McMorrin to find that out. Sent him a message on the Disc Golf Masters Tour. Sent her a message to just on the Facebook. I didn't bombard her directly. No response whatsoever as to, I just said, hey, what does it take to be on the Disc Golf Masters Tour? I don't know if it takes the event being an A tier and you invite them. I don't know if it's a symbiotic relationship where they help you out and you help them out. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. So if she gets back to me, I guess I'll report next week, but I'm not holding my breath as to hearing back from her. Maybe I'll go to her directly to her and ask her on the Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say, I think she had some type of post the other day. I think she's getting, it sounded like she was getting the short end of the stick with some comments on things. So she may just be not looking at things on Facebook currently. So
if that's where you promote your tour, you better pay attention to it and you better have some thicker skin.
Yeah, this is why I don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be crying in the corner.
Well,
God,
I mean,
why are they so mean?
And nobody likes to be told what they're doing is dumb and they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast, though. Everybody thinks they can do it better.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's got an
opinion. GKA Pro or Go Throw thought they could do it better. So what they do, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and we're going to see if they can do it better.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, I mean, I do think it'll be cool that this series, I guess, comes to Wichita, but I don't know how it helps out the tournament, how it helps out Ducks. So hopefully it brings more people in, because
that's the hope. That's what I'm hoping, is that we see more of those Masters players fill up the tournament. We see it get even larger, because I mean, Keeper for us is the largest tournament that we have. I mean, it's the one that fills up the most. I don't know if we filled it last year, but I mean, it's a cool tournament, and I think it's what year is this? The 12th, maybe? So yeah.
Yep.
Excited to see how it turns out. Hopefully we have a lot of people, and
maybe somebody from Ducks will get in the comments and tell us what the connection is.
Hey, Duck, let me know. I know you're watching, Duck. You always watch our podcast.
Call Lucas and tell him. All right, man. Well, I think that wraps up everything we had. We've got unfortunately, no player news yet.
Yeah, but man, we have some bangers this week. These are some really good topics. Again, please get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. But Smitty, let's jump into shout-outs of the week. You got anything?
Yeah, only one I have is not disc golf related. Shout out to my kid Emery for graduating this week in the middle of the year and going into the Marines in January 7th. He's out of here.
Yeah.
That's shocking, man.
Yeah, that kid is yoked.
Yeah. He's pretty good size for a little scrawny sucker.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations to him. And you know what? We're going to give a special shout out this week to my wife. You know, after hearing Drew's announcements, you know, I just need to make sure she gets all the love, because I'm not always home, and she's taking care of these twin girls, and she is absolutely amazing. So thank you, babe.
Yeah,
all right.
Thanks, babe.
Oh, damn it. I'm sorry I said it. All right, Smitty, this has been fun. Everyone, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week on Tuesday for our 40th episode.
Woohoo!
I know. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Later.